Hello, my name is Jay Bear, and welcome back. This is the next episode in my Build With Me series. And in the last episode, I built this park behind me here, and I also built my grandparents' old house. I thought that would be a nice way of remembering them. And this is over in the area of the city where I just built this skyscraper in the previous episode. And I'm going to move on from this part of the city, and we're going to go someplace else. Now, this isn't the area that I'm going to be working on, but this is a little example of what I'm intending on doing in this episode. You can see in this part of the city, we've got a couple of cars. We've got Green and Mumbo Jumbo here. They were in a car accident together, and it just adds a little bit of life to the city. And there is a lot of areas that need some life, like even this road here. You can see there's not many cars, there's no people. There's nothing down that road, there's nothing out that way. There's very, very little life anywhere in the city. And so that's what I want to do today. I'm going to work on adding some life to the city, to a particular place. And that particular place would be over here at the stadium. So what I am hoping to do is add some players to the Craftball field here, add some people in the stands, and just some general life in this area. Maybe some people coming into the stadium over here, maybe some cars and people coming out of the parking garage over there. Also, there's a project going on the server where some of the people are building a monorail system that is connecting a lot of different parts of the server. And they've already connected to some of my areas in the town, in the city already. And you can see that there's 2 stations going to be planned here to connect over to the stadium area. And I'm thinking maybe I'll go ahead and build those buildings to be able to have people coming out of them heading over into the stadium, just to add that little bit of extra life over here. And if I have time, well, maybe I'll move over into other areas over here, adding people into the movie theater, in the pool area, in the aquarium, just adding some extra life over into this area. And I want to do that all throughout the city and all throughout the town. But with that in mind, I have to be careful because armor stands are entities and they cause lag. So I'm going to teleport over to my amusement park area because I want to show you something over there. All right, so I'm over here at the amusement park, and down here in the center square just behind the entrance area, years ago, we were experimenting with how to make people without using armor stands and came up with a bunch of different ideas. And I have been messing around over here in this area. Now, of course, people at a stadium would be sitting down. And we don't have... let me make it daytime. Hold on. There we go. That's better. So we have armor stands, and we do have armor stands with arms, but we have no way of modifying them. Like, I can't hide the base. I can't make them sit. I can't make them move their arms differently. This is the pose. And you can see I have me standing here holding a blaze rod, and that's it. I can make it hold something, which is great. I'm glad we've got the ones with arms. That is nice, but I can't make them sit. So I was trying a bunch of different things here, just different ways of like, okay, if I put this in front of a step, what does it look like? I also tried putting the walls on the step, like, oh, what does that look like? And a lot of them I'm just not real happy with how they're turning out. But I'm thinking what I need to do is just fill the stadium with something that's going to make it look like there's people and activity there. And these heads all have another disadvantage. If we fly up here, the heads disappear. And if you watch right there, there's an armor stand, the one with me holding the blaze rod. If I go up a little higher and further away, it disappears. If I move closer, everything starts loading again. So my thoughts is, well, the one that I came up with that I like the best, standing up, is this one. It kind of looks like a body with legs and arms. If we go up, into the fountain at a distance, and you look down at it, it does kind of look like a person standing there. And I also have this new tool. Let me set it here. So this is Tool Cycler. And if I come down here and let's just go to this wall under this version of me here, and I click on this, let's see, I want to do, if you look in the lower left corner, it's cycling through the different things I can modify. See that? I can put the wall so it goes like that. And now the east. So I can make the wall look like that instead of the default like this. And I think that does kind of look like somebody standing there. As for people sitting in the stadium, I'm going to try this method here, with somebody sitting with levers for their arms and a head on top. Because if we fly up and take a look down at it, I guess that maybe kind of looks like somebody sitting. So it's very difficult to get something that looks kind of like a person sitting in a chair at a stadium. But I do want it to look like there's life there. So I am going to head over to the stadium and try out a little bit of this, and then we'll take a look at it together. Well, what do you think? Does it look like me sitting in a chair? Maybe not, but let's back out a little bit. Take a look. Maybe that's not so bad. I also made a small crowd over here just to see, what does that look like? Does that look like people watching the game? Maybe from a distance. Their heads are starting to disappear. Yeah, see what I mean? The heads disappear, and then when you get closer, they show up. I think that'll work. I think that's the best I'm going to be able to do without just totally loading the whole place up with armor stands. And I really want to fill this place up. Like, I want the stadium mostly filled with people. Now, there is a downside here that I can't put arms on everybody. Like, I would have no arms at all if they were just sitting immediately next to each other. But in order to put arms on everyone, there'd have to be 2 blocks in between them. So some people get 1 arm, some people get no arms, and that's just how it ends up working out. But I think that looks okay from a distance. I would like something better than this, and if Minecraft ever puts something better than this in the game, then I'll come back and I will redo this. But for now, that's what I have to work with. So I'm going to go ahead and work on filling this place up with people, and we're going to see how it looks. All right, I have filled the stadium with diamonds. I'm just using this as a placeholder block just to get all of the people placed where I want, because it would be kind of tedious to go around and place all of the different colors and to randomize them the way that I want them to be. So I just went, and what I did is I filled like this quadrant over here. And you can see the way I've got these placed in, it's like every other block, and then it's staggered on the next row so that it's the blocks in between, and then staggered again. And then we've got the same thing duplicated up above, and then it's copied and rotated to each of the quadrants, the middle filled in, the ends done, and then copied and rotated into place. So it's pretty simple to get all this into place. Got all the levers into place, and everywhere I believe I have it so that the fence posts here are not touching the diamond blocks. I used that cycler tool that I was using earlier. And now what I want to do is I'm going to change all of these diamond blocks randomly. I was going to use concrete and terracotta. These are the colors for both of them, all of the colors possible. But for some reason, the command that I'm using in World Edit doesn't let me do concrete. So I'm going to use wool instead. And here's the command here. So replace diamond blocks with hashtag terracotta, hashtag wool, and it should replace all of these and randomize the colors. So there we go. Now that should just be a random assortment of blocks, not anything like a repeating pattern or anything like that. So that's a quick and easy way to just get all of that in there with just random assortment of colors. And I might switch some of it around manually just because, like, you know, look at this. We got a lot of red in a row here. But hey, maybe those people wore red to support their team because we got a red team and a yellow team. So maybe that makes sense. So now I got to go through and put heads in. Now I have to do that part manually. I'm sure there's probably some way to do that with World Edit, but not that I know of. So I am going to work on putting heads on all of these things. All right, the stadium is filled with spectators. That took longer than I expected. It's actually been several weeks since the last time I recorded. The server has since updated to 1.20, so we now have the new content available to us to build with. And it's not so much that all of the heads took a lot of time. I have a little bit of lag here. I have plenty of heads, but I didn't have enough. So I have a lot more now, just because I didn't want to use the same ones over and over. I'm sure there's some repeats scattered about through here, but you can see now I'm really lagging. The server's been very laggy today. That if we look in all these shulker boxes, these are all the pink ones are new heads with faces that I didn't have before. Yeah, you can see a little bit of lag there. And the orange ones are not faces. So it's all filled up. There we go. Now they're opening. Yeah, so all these have faces. All these ones, there's Ren the King. So the way I've got this kind of set up here is I'm over here with some of my friends that I've played Minecraft with, but then there are all of the players from Hermitcraft over here as well in this section, just with another couple other heads just to fill it out. And then all around are mostly just random heads that I just kind of went through and just did skull and got a bunch of random stuff. It took a while to get plenty of heads. And over here is like characters. There's like Marvel characters down here. There's some Mario characters, you know, just various characters from different movies and things. And just random stuff, a bunch of random heads. There's some from Futurama down there. Creators of Minecraft right over here. Well, Notch is the creator. A couple of the developers are there. So it's all filled up now. And I'm going to have to get all these shulker boxes out of here because I've got a lot of new heads. So now what I'm going to do is we need a team in here. Oh, in the fire, that was my disposal pit that I could just throw things in to get rid of. It's easier than deleting it in the creative menu. So now we're going to create some teams here to play against each other. And it's not going to be using player heads. Well, not exactly. Let me show you. I'm going to build a little quick one here and show you an example of what I have in mind. All right, so you can see I've got some villagers here trapped in these little glass boxes for now. This is a savanna biome over here on this side. So we get one team with red. And then over here, this is a swamp biome. So we get one team with purple and green outfits. And you see these dispensers here. That is because I have helmets to put on them. So that's actually my head with a custom skull with a leather hat with a stripe down it to match his outfit. And I think that looks pretty good. It's actually the style of a Minecraft helmet, which I think is appropriate for these teams. And then over here, if we go do this guy, he gets a purple helmet with a green stripe to match his outfit. And they look a little funny at the bottom. Like you can see, like there's a dual head going on here and like a double nose going on. It looks a little weird, but it's fine. I think that works. They're going to be down here on the field. There's going to be several on each team. We are also going to have some allays and iron golems down here. Let me go ahead and set that up so I can show you what that's going to look like. All right, I have this set up here now. So eventually the glass blocks are all going to be changed out for barrier blocks so that they will be completely invisible. So we're going to put an iron golem down here. He's going to be the goalie. How exactly he blocks people from scoring on these goal posts or goal circles, I don't know, but he's there to be the goalie. So we're gonna have iron golems for goalies, and then what we're going to do is I'm gonna spawn an allay here. I have a couple barrier blocks right here. You can see them already at those 3 places. So we're gonna spawn an allay, and I'm gonna grab him and attach him to this fence post. Then I'm gonna take and we're gonna put a villager right down in here, and he's gonna get surrounded completely with barrier blocks so that he can't wander around. And then if we do that, that hides the fence post in him. So if we break that and replace it with a barrier block, the fence post is completely hidden inside the villager, and we can actually break those glass blocks underneath. And now it just looks like he is on the field holding an LA. It looks like the the lead is coming from his head, but that's okay because this is kind of meant to be viewed kind of flying over from a distance, and you see this guy standing down here with an LA, and you look down and you see the iron golem, and you'll see a couple other guys out here walking around on the field. And that's Craftball. How Craftball works, I have no clue. There's no rules to this game. I have not figured it out completely. I don't want to figure it out completely. It's a mystery. It's just going to have some villagers with helmets down here running around, some iron golems and some allays and some crafting benches. And that's good enough. It creates just a scene down here of people watching villagers playing Craftball. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to finish putting this together. All right, you can see now I've got a mess of glass down here, and I've got some villagers all wearing their helmets. Let's go down and take a closer look here. So we've got a team of 6 villagers. We got the guy out here in the middle, 2 guys behind him, then 2 guys with the allays. And I did notice sometimes if the villager moves around in there, you can see the fence posts sometimes, but that's okay. I'm not too worried about that. And then we got 1 guy back here. We got our iron golems and 2 allays that are each holding a crafting table. And the lead is hooked to the fence post, but just in case the lead breaks, I did box in the allays so that they don't escape should the leads ever break. And now going to turn all this glass into barrier blocks. I already have it selected, so there we go. I think that looks pretty good. So we've got all of our players out here on the field playing Craftball. So I'm pretty happy with how this turned out. I think that's pretty cool. So I got a little bit of cleanup left to do here. Maybe I'll put some benches in around the sides. Maybe there'll be a coach standing on each side, something like that. But as far as the players out on the field, they are now all in place. All right, I've cleaned things up a little bit around here. I've consolidated everything down to just this little area here. I've added some coaches along the sides as well. And one thing I noticed when it gets dark is the field is kind of dark. So I have these light blocks, and in fact, I can probably replace the sea lantern down here with, let's see if we go, put that there and then put that light there. That lights it up just as well. And I'm going to go around and put some of these lights around on the field, because when you look at any sports field, when there's a game at night, it's always very, very well lit. We've got these stadium lights up here, but Minecraft light doesn't travel that far. It travels like, what, 15, 16 blocks, something like that. So I'm going to use these invisible lights just to go around, light up the stadium, make it look like it should. You know, just go through and do this, get it up, lit up real bright, even at night. And I think I'm going to do the seats too. Like you can see, I've already put some around the top up here, but like, I think we need some even along in here because they would be lit up pretty well at night too. Yeah, so I'm going to go through and do that. I'm going to spread some light around here. All right, I've got the whole stadium lit up here now. And I lit up the stands as well as the field, and I think it looks a lot better at night now. I also added some benches over by the coaches. So we got a couple benches, and we've got some banners, and that is a water cooler. Same thing over on the other side. This is now completely lit up, so I think it's going to look a lot better at nighttime. Still got a couple little details to take care of here. I have a couple heads in here for announcers up here in the announcing booth. And I don't know what I'm going to do with the areas over here around the stairs. If I want to put any people in there or concession stand under here or something like that. I might be able to put something in here in these corners, a little place selling food. So I think I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to put together some of those things. I also have out here the ticket booths. We need somebody in there selling tickets. And maybe I'll put a couple people out here on their way in. Even though the stadium's completely filled inside, like it is totally filled with life now, I think we need a little bit on the outside here as well. So I'm going to go ahead and work on that. All right, I've done a little bit of work here. Maybe you can see a couple things that I've added throughout here. I've added some people. Oh, look, someone's built a subway. That wasn't here yesterday. I knew that was coming. And there's another one right there too. That's cool. Yeah, there's a subway system being worked on all throughout the server. It goes all over the place. And it connects a bunch of places in my areas. So, yeah, that appeared overnight. All right, so a couple things I added over here in the corner. I added a little concession stand over here. Over here, we've got some bathrooms. And these bathrooms, well, this is all there is to them. You know how in stadiums and other big venues like this, you go into the bathroom, there's no door leading in, you just go in and turn. Well, here, you go in and turn. There's nothing in here. It's just because there's no room. Like if we look behind this, it just leads right outside. So I can't actually build a bathroom. And if we look here, it just continues right over to the other side. So there's no room to actually build a bathroom here. It's more intended that you're looking at it from here. That's kind of what this whole place is meant to be looked at, like to be able to fly over and see all the details. And so then over here, we have another little concession stand. He's got some different foods, and we've got one more bathroom over here. I also added a couple little details here. I took some banners that were over in the banner and head factory, and added them to this. Gave them a first aid kit, gave them a bucket of water, because why not? They like having water around for these types of things. Gave these guys some banners as well, and first aid kit and water here too. I also added a couple of referees. I think this is actually supposed to be like a prisoner type of hat, but that works. I have plenty of heads and saw this one like, oh, that's perfect for referee. Can't really make the clothing striped. Maybe if I used the new, the patterns that you can add to the armor. There's a word to that and I can't think of what it is. But anyway, this referee has a horn to blow, and this referee over here has a diamond sword. I don't know what he does with it. I don't know how Craftball works. Craftball's just got villagers, allays, golems. Crafting tables are involved in these goalposts, and there's referees with swords and horns. What happens beyond that, I couldn't tell you. And that's okay. I don't need to know how Craftball works. And then we've got some people out here selling tickets. And I did use armor stands for like the employees of the place, but all the rest of the people, they end up looking like this. And unfortunately, the debug stick is not working right now. So I can't change these. If you remember earlier in the video, I showed an example over at the amusement park where they had the little side bits coming off. So like we put this here, you can see the little side pieces come off of the wall there. That's how I want to do legs, but for some reason, since we upgraded the server to the next version of Minecraft, the debug stick's not working. So should it ever start working again, I will come through here and change all the legs on these people. So we got some people just standing around talking, groups of people here, groups of people there. Then since we've got a purple team and a red team, we've got a purple fan and a red fan out here, arms up in the air, yelling at each other about whose team is better. Other various people. Oh, this head's on the same guy here. I'll have to change that. And they're twins. We'll say that. Those are twins on their way in. Some other people coming here. And now that this is built, I actually might show some people coming up out of here as well. And then we've got some people coming from over this direction. I've got random shulker boxes just sitting around filled with, well, that's the walls that I was using to make the people. We've got tons of heads and things around. Those will get cleaned up. We've got people coming from the parking garage over this way. So that's what I've done there. I think the next thing I'm going to do is maybe add some souvenir shops, like right out here in this area, and try to fill in some of these empty grass areas, maybe with some plantings and some little buildings that sell souvenirs, maybe some food, stuff like that. And I was also thinking, oh, I also added these flags here too. I was also thinking that since we have a red team trying to score in the red goal, we should change that goalpost there to be purple for the purple team to score in. And I was also thinking back here on the back side that we should add like a pull off for buses. And we have some buses that we've used elsewhere in the game or elsewhere in our city. And we could put a couple buses here for unloading. Maybe it's for the teams, maybe it's for the people. I don't know. I haven't thought about that yet. I think maybe the teams would get loaded back here. Like they'd have their buses they would go on. And I'm also thinking that we could add a bus stop out here someplace for the people coming to see the game. So I've still got a little bit more to do on this. I think I'm going to just start building all of that, and then I'll show you what it looks like when it's done. Well, I realized something after recording the last clip. It wasn't the debug stick that I was using to change these walls. I was never able to get the debug stick working. It was this cycler tool. Let's see, there it goes. See, there. that one's working. So I went through and I fixed all of the legs on all the people. So now you can see that they look the way that I wanted them to originally. I also went through and I put some light posts around this area and some trash cans. I also put some of the invisible lights down on the ground just to make things a little bit more uniformly lit up. I also put some signs out here for the ticket booth, and I built a souvenir shop. Right here you can see this guy. He's selling jerseys and helmets and craft balls or crafting tables. And then this guy over here was selling food, and you can see he's got his little stove back in there. He's got a sink, and he's making drinks and food for people to buy. So I did that. I also did some work with the plantings around here. I added some azaleas, whatever these white plants are, and got rid of some of the other things. There was dandelions and the red flowers, the poppies around. Got rid of some of them to make things a little more uniform. Added azalea trees. Added some oak trees over in this area. I also extended the people down into the rail line that's been built here, and I added this bus over here as well. What else did I do? I did a bunch of things. Let's see, over here you can see this subway station has been all built up here, and so I added some people coming out of that as well, and even a couple people in here on their way over to the stadium. I went around back. Well, I actually extended this road. It used to stop right here, and I extended that up to the road up there. Did some landscaping here, fixed some landscaping back here, added a bunch of trees back here, did the same thing with all the bushes, or not bushes, the grass and the flowers and things, added lights. Over here, I added another bus and a little building that is for the players only. So this is the players' entrance to the stadium. You can see they've got a little bit of a different bus with tinted windows. And this building doesn't connect to the stadium, so we'll just say it goes underground. That's how they get in from this building here. They go underground. And then lastly, on the outside here, we had this path that went off this direction, and I think it was always our intent to add some type of park or something over here. So I added in all of these cherry trees and the pink flowers on the ground, some lights and things, just to make this kind of a nice area to walk through. And then on the inside, oh, and I also did this too. I added some black concrete behind the first layer of windows. Up here is fine. We can see into the stadium, but this was just seeing into like an unfinished area, like just in here. So I put some concrete on there just to block the view. On the inside here, I changed that goalpost to purple, like I mentioned before, and added some signs for food and for the restrooms. I also redid the scoreboard. I don't know if you remember what it looked like before, or even if it shows up very well in any of the clips, but I added Craftball to it because if somebody was just to come up to this stadium, they don't know what game's being played down here. I know that it's called Craftball, but anybody else that just comes here to take a look at what's going on, this isn't a traditional game, so they don't know what it's called. So I called it Craftball, put the score on there, the banners for each team, and a score. And I really like how that turned out. And with that, that is all I have time for in this episode. I am very happy with how this turned out. I think it really does add a lot of life to the area, and I'm looking forward to doing this more areas in the city. So if you like this video, please leave a like and a comment, and if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. I'll see you next time.